Well, that was awkward. My computer apparently decided that it did not want to keep going and decided to just suddenly restart out of nowhere. So now we are starting over. Let's go ahead and jump right back in. So the last place that MegaMek or MekHQ knew what was happening is we were about to jump into a fight. The last thing I saw was the Wasp exploded horribly. The Centurion exploded horribly, and the Ossaul was hurting really badly. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to auto-resolve this because we know how this game is ending up. The requirement was that I destroy 50% of the Draconis Combine Op4. At the time where my computer decided to make the restart, we had destroyed, between us and our allies, greater than 50% of the enemy forces. We know how this was going to turn out. So let's go ahead and just hit it. So we're going to go ahead and resolve manually. Do you want to declare your side controlling the battle? Nope. Nope. They controlled the battle. There was no salvage. Just hit OK. Everybody was essentially undamaged. Nobody actually had taken damage so far. And at the point where my computer decided to puke, we still hadn't taken damage, and greater than 50% of the forces had also been fine. Everybody on my side was fine. Objective status, all of these folks could reach the north edge. Their Crusader exploded. That Wasp exploded. Ossaul, I'm going to say, did not explode because I didn't see it. So, next. And so we have a victory. We completed 2 victory points, and we finish. Ta-da! The only downside is that I did expend some ammunition, and that's not going to show here. I think that's going to be pretty negligible, though. Pretty negligible. So I'm okay with making that sacrifice to say I expended the ammo, but I didn't, kind of, sort of. Okay, but let's move on. Let's go forward. So we are most of the way through this month. The contract itself is going to go through July 5th. So we are almost at the end of this contract. At this point, we chill, we wait, and we write out the contract. Nobody wants to leave the unit. Ooh, there is a locust up for grabs. I'll never say no to a locust. These are just fun. Who doesn't love a good old locust? Yeah, why not? Oh, but we didn't make it. We did not get the locust. That's terrible. For anybody coming back, I am sorry about the interruption in the stream. My computer decided that it wanted to take a brief break and restart on its own, which was a little annoying. All right, so now we are into a new month. We have a new unit market. We have some personnel who have gained vocational XP. The enemy condition is currently routed. Enemy is in full retreat, suffering devastating losses and scatter. They pose no significant threat and are incapable of organizing a counterattack. There is no special event. Lots of maintenance was done, and we got paid. So we are up to 14 million C-bills. Our employer is ready to deliver. We'll go ahead and use our convoy. Well, actually, I just said use theirs. Whoops. Oops. We'll go ahead and just take whatever they'll give us. Convoy arrived. Good things happened. All right, Captain, the unit's current deployment is officially concluded. Allied Command is waiting formal confirmation before they can release us from our deployment obligations and authorize the disbursement of any remaining funds owed. I recommend we finalize and submit the necessary after-action reports and administrative documentation as soon as possible to avoid delays in fund release and to close out this deployment cycle properly. Once I have your confirmation, I'll be able to coordinate this process with Allied Command. Let me know how you'd like to proceed. Oh, I better take a look. All right, so we'll head over to the briefing room. It is July 2nd. End date, July 2nd. I think we can complete mission. Mission complete. We are at 4 campaign victory points. We need something greater than 0. Last time I checked, when I was in elementary school, 4 is in fact greater than 0. Complete mission. Success. We have succeeded. Nobody wants to leave. Everybody gets to serve and get a nice little campaign ribbon because that's what we do in the military. Everybody gets a participation award because that's what we do in the modern era. And everybody also gets a 3rd participation award because, again, that's what we do when we're trying to be inclusive. So we get some experience, everybody's happy, and we are all done with that mission. So our force reputation is 6. We might be able to do something a little bit later on down the road. Your standing with the Lyran Commonwealth is increased. You are still unaccredited. The Mercenary Review Board says that we are still registered. And we got an additional 3 million C-bills. So with that, that contract is done. Where are we at? That's the question. So when you're all done with a contract and you're sitting there wondering, man, what do I do with myself? What am I supposed to do? Where am I supposed to go from here? Well, depending on the settings that you're playing in, it can be important to look at hiring halls. So what kind of hiring halls are available? Black is bad. Black is a black hole. Black means there is no hiring hall or no hiring hall. So if we're looking at the information on the right-hand side of the screen, it tells you a little bit about the system, the planets, blah, 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 blah. Hiring hall, none. How is somebody supposed to hire you if there is no hiring hall? However, here in the Trolloc system where we currently are, there is a minor hiring hall. In Rubigan, there is a minor hiring hall. There are more major hiring halls out there. Look for the systems that are more yellow. So yellow, you have a standard hiring hall here. There is a standard hiring hall not very far away here, deeper into this part of space. So for those of you who are unaware or do not know, the map is set up, or the colors are for the different factions that are currently available, or the different factions and houses that are currently in control of the galaxy. If you want to know more, I recommend that you go to the different BattleTech source books in order to just take a look at what all these different houses are and what the different battles are that are happening. There is a huge amount of lore that goes into BattleTech. You don't need to know it. You don't need to have any of that information available for you to start playing BattleTech and to enjoy playing BattleTech. But it can be fun, especially if you want to have more long-standing campaigns, if you want to have a little bit more of that RPG nuance behind your campaigns. All of that can be a lot of fun, not at all required. The things to really know is the places where you're going to have a lot of missions are probably going to be the places that are closer to borders, these places that you have the striped lines. Those are the places where you are more likely to find a little bit of income potentially. And so we can go ahead and take a look if we want to and see, is there a contract out there? No contracts. Sad day. However, we can see, we can calculate a jump path. It would take us, it hurts, 5 million C-bills to transit there. Or we can come to here where there's another standard hiring hall. Calculate 2.3 million C-bills. I like 2.3. 2.3 million C-bills is much more gooders. So I'm probably going to go ahead and do that. It would be reasonable to make the single jump to Buckminster. You know, it's got a decent population. It's got a minor hiring hall. It's a moderately advanced world. This would not be a bad place to go, but I would rather have the good hiring hall or the better hiring hall in order to take a look. And if you're ever wondering, like, hey, where am I? What faction am I in? You can always look up here, and that tells you what faction you're in. So red, Dracoda's Combine. This is important to know if you want to make sure that in your missions you are building up that reputation for different places. So in that last mission, we were working for the Lyran Commonwealth, and we were going against the Draconis Combine, which means we probably don't want to get a mission from the Draconis Combine, and we probably want to bounce out of the Draconis Combine territory into the Lyran territory. They're probably going to be a little more favorable to us. Let's go ahead and calculate a jump path. We're going to go ahead. It would be a good idea for us to go ahead and mothball everything. Just mothball all the things. That way we don't have to worry about doing maintenance or anything else along those lines. Just let it cruise. Everybody can kick back, relax, hang out, do all that fun stuff. It's going to take a couple days to mothball everything. And then from there, go back to that interstellar map. We've got our jump path calculated. And since everything is mothballed, it's even cheaper. Spending 2 days to do that means it's way cheaper. Not quite half the cost. Let's go ahead and begin transit. It's going to take us about a month to get there. So let's go ahead, advance multiple days, go to a new month, hang out, wait. And voila, we got there. Okay, so anything we know about? Oh, I forgot to mothball my dump trucks. Oops. Mostly charging. Somebody goes crazy. Charging. Somebody goes crazy. Charging. Somebody goes crazy. Charging. And then we get to a new month, which means we have new units available to us and a contract market update. So let's go ahead and take a look at the contracts. Not a ton, and we're going to be losing money on pretty much everything. So you can see right here, estimated profit minus 3.2 million C-bills. Not ideal. Not exactly what I would look for. And then Comstar can hire us, and we can lose 5.7 million C-bills. Isn't that nice? Or we can wait. Right now we are 8.3 days from the planet. It might be reasonable for us to go ahead and get to the planet, hang out, chill, wait, take a breather, and then go from there. Now, as for things that are available, there's yet another Warhammer. There's an Ostrak. So Ostrak, 60-ton mech. It's got 15 heat sinks, 5.8, no jump jets, 144 armor, decent frontal torso armor, and leg armor. But if anything gets around behind you, you're toast. The Ostrak also just rolls with 3 heavy lasers. So if you fire more than one of those, you will be getting hot. You'll be getting nice and toasty. And if you dump all 3 lasers, you're getting real close to engine shutdown land. Not great. Not the best thing in the world. They've also got a Vulcan, a Wyvern, which is a medium 464 at 45 tons that rolls with a large laser, couple small lasers, SRM-6 and an LRM-10. Not a bad little mech, but not quite ideal either. Then we've got a longbow, which it's the epitome of all missile boats. You know, it's a 4.6 with 13 heat sinks and rolls with 2 LRM-20s and 2 LRM-5s. So, you know, it'll dump 50 missiles downrange and get a little warm doing it, but it can do it. The downside is they can only do it for 6 rounds. I'm sorry, I lied. 12 rounds. It can do that for 12 rounds, and then it's out of ammo, which you would think 12 rounds is plenty of time. But in a game where you're actually needing to unload 12 rounds of LRM, you need more than 12 rounds of LRM ammo. We've got a Stalker, an Archer, an Ostrak, again, a different Ostrak though. So this one, you got 15 heat sinks. It's again 5.8, but it's got 2 large lasers, 2 medium lasers, and SRM4. This is more reasonable. So it's going to get a little warm firing both of its large lasers, but that's more of its standoff weapon. And then you've got 2 medium lasers and an SRM4 for when you're in close, and it can definitely unload with all of that without a problem and keep on moving. But still not ideal. Something like this, it would be better to have 4 medium lasers and an SRM. That way you can stay heat neutral, keep running, keep moving around, and then you've got the large laser for kind of that engagement as you're getting closer. I don't want any of those. Those can go away. Now, one thing we can do right now is, now that we're not in the middle of an operation, we can see, hey, can I get... First of all, let's unmothball the Highlander so that we can start working on it. Okay. Plow. So let's see if we can't start going ahead and repairing it. That way, we can see if we can get some of those parts. So let's reload the Gauss rifle. Reload your LRM. And then... I really don't want to mess up any of the ferrofibrous. So we're going to have a veteran do it just to make sure that we don't run into any problems at all. And now you can see we're out of ferrofibrous. So, and it's impossible to get, which is frustrating. It's very frustrating. So we're going to be stuck not being able to repair this until we either acquire another mech that has ferrofibrous that we can strip, or we get a good enough reputation that we can actually obtain ferrofibrous. Go ahead and order it just for fun. It's not going to happen because we can't acquire that level of tech. I am sorely tempted just to sell the Highlander because I'm not a huge fan of the mech. Like, it's fine. I like a Gauss rifle, but man, not ideal. So what we'll end up doing is I'm going to go ahead and just chill here until the next month. Just the person going crazy. Don't worry about it. So we'll chill until the next month, and we'll see what we get for new... Really? You just turned 18? That's bonkers. And before that even happens, why don't we see if we can't spend a little bit of that XP? So let's go ahead and grab some of our Mech Warriors. So the veterans, 27 XP isn't going to be enough to do anything with, because when you're talking about veterans, you're talking about, oh, they changed the required XP for things. That is huge. For somebody who was a 4-3, in the last patches, you're talking 40 or 50 XP to increase their gunnery. I'm not going to complain at all. That's pretty great. So why don't we go ahead and up their gunnery? So now they're at 4-2, which is a little dangerous, but that's fine. We'll roll with it. And then let's go ahead, and you are a 4-3. And we need 2 more experience for you, but for a regular, I am betting. Oh, no. We need 2 more XP. What about for the greens? Yeah, I figured. We do not need that much. So you're a 4-6. Let's go ahead and help out your piloting. Scenario 4-5. Same thing. You need 2 more XP, don't you? Yeah, you do. You need 2 more XP. All right, that's fine. But my Ultra Green should be able to make some work happen. I don't understand how my Lieutenant is the worst mech out of all of them. It kind of makes sense. It kind of makes sense. But it doesn't. All right, so you are a 7-6. Why don't we do that? And let's see if we can't go ahead and increase something else too while we're at it. Piloting, gunnery. Nope, need 5 more. So at least you're a 6-6 pilot now, which is better. Probably one more contract, and most of these folks will be doing a lot better. So let's go ahead and take a quick look at all of our techs. And I'm betting that we're going to be able to help some people out here. So let's spend current skills. Yeah. Tech. And so something you can do is you can do mass training. So mass train personnel. If your primary role is, let's say, MechTech, wherever it is, MechTech. Experience level. Doesn't matter. Skill. Tech. Should be down here. Tech, Mech. Target skill level. 10. So much more betters. Spend XP. Everybody gets a little bit better. Then, if your primary role is mechanic, all of those, you don't care about rank, experience level, anything like that, but you're just asking, hey, can you get better? Yes, I want you to get better. Spend XP. Get better. Get gooder. And that's all you have to do. And then everybody levels up, and you spend all of your XP all at once, which helps to make things go a little bit faster. And just to make sure, you can see here, it needs 5 more XP. And then one important but overlooked specialty are all of our administrators. These dudes just need all of the love they can get. Let's do admin command. What? Hold on. Command you. Oh, right. Now the one thing I wish was a little different is, when you just spend XP, it's just administrator. But when you're doing mass, you have to do all the different separations. And so it means just a little bit more work. Are you trying to tell me none of these dudes can get better? No, you can totally get better. I mean, I could probably do some negotiation instead, but I think we'll just work on the admin for right now. Nope. All right, and there's that. I don't think anybody else can do much. Nope. Nope. Okay. There was that. I mean, can I do negotiation? Sure. Do I want to? Probably should. Maybe. We'll think on that one later. We'll think on it. I'm not going to worry too much about it right now. Let's just get to the next month and let's see what's going to happen. So advance the day, employee turnover check. Nobody wants to leave. Yay! Everybody's happy. And then we can be happy that people got better at their job. All right, so we were able to put some money in the unit coffers. There are some people available, which is neat. So if we're going to hire somebody, I would want to hire somebody who's actually good at their job. But right now we've just got professional. What does professional mean? I don't know, but professional. We've got a medic, vehicle gunner, soldier, vehicle gunner, professional, dependent, MekTech. Overall, I'm not seeing anything that I'm super excited about here. Because if I'm going to take the effort to hire you, I probably want you to actually be good at your job. I mean, you can make the argument that, sure, hiring somebody when they're still green and then training them up, maybe they'll want to stay for longer, but no, I just don't want to. Not right now. Let's look at the contracts. Nothing. No contracts. We have no contracts. That is frustrating. Very irritating. Okay. Unit market, there's a fire starter, which literally, it's all in the name. It lights things on fire. You didn't believe me? It has 1, 2, 3, 4 flamers. 4 flamers. And a couple of medium lasers and a couple of machine guns. And we have yet another Warhammer. A grasshopper. I love grasshoppers. These are some of my favorite mechs. So it's a heavy mech, 70-tonner, 4.64. It can hop around. It can do some things. It's got 22 heat sinks. It's got 1, 2, 3, 4 medium lasers, a large laser, and LRM-5. These things are great because you can run an alpha strike all in a turn. You can dump all 4 of your medium lasers and your large laser while running and stay heat neutral. If you jump, worst case scenario is you get 2 heat. So you jump in, you unload, you jump out, and you're up 2 heat. This is one of my favorite mechs. I'm going to get it. I've got 15 million. I can scrounge up 5.4 million, especially if I sell a Highlander. So if things get rough, I'm going to sell the Highlander. No ifs and buts. I'm just going to sell it. We're buying this. There is no conversation to have here. So we've got a rifleman. Hold on. Wait a second. Quick question for the world. No, that's a blackjack. Anyways. So we've got a rifleman. Also a heavy mech, 60-tonner. It's a 4.6 with a little bit of armor. It's got a couple AC5s, a couple large lasers, and a couple of medium lasers. These do really well at a distance. They do a great job of just pummeling out the damage from a distance. The downside is that you can only do both your AC5s and 1 large laser if you're not moving to stay heat neutral. Hold on, which hunchback is this? Oh man. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I mean, I'm actually not familiar with this one, but I kind of love it. You put this with somebody who's an energy weapon specialist, and life gets fun. I am kind of a secret lover of hunchbacks because they just run in, they cause a whole bunch of damage, and then they run away. We're gonna sit on this one for a minute. Stalker, we already know about. Guillotine, it's a heavy mech, 70-tonner, 4.64, 22 heat sinks, a large laser, 4 medium lasers, and an SRM-6 with a bunch of armor. Not a whole lot to write home about this. It's just, it does the thing that it's supposed to do. It runs in, it shoots things, it runs away, and normally it lives. Not a whole lot else to say about it. And then we've got a Vulcan. I am sorely tempted by that hunchback. sorely tempted. The only thing I hate about hunchbacks is they can't jump. So if you want, they do pretty decent in like a town or a city or something like that, but if you have them in the woods, they never make it to the fight. We're gonna sit on it. I think the right move is just to wait and not do anything. Yeah. I think we have to sit on our hands. I don't like the answer, but we have to. Several units have not been formally assigned at... Oh, whoop. Hold on. Wait. Grasshopper needs to be mothballed. That's a problem. Okay, cool. Mothballed. You also need to be mothballed. Oops. Yes, go away. Okay, great. From there, let us advance. Man, we're gonna have to go to the next month. I'm sitting here thinking about the hunchback. I want the hunchback. I also need to pay attention to my money though. So we're gonna go to the next month. We're gonna have a whole lot of notifications that we can't buy a thing because we can't acquire the tech level, blah, 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 blah. Nobody wants to leave. Okay. And contract. Okay, we have a couple of contracts. Technically, we're going to lose money on everything. Just because it says you're going to lose money does not mean you actually will. So something to keep in mind is that if you can actually do a pretty okay job of keeping things in line and you know that you're going to be going someplace and you can stay local to get a new contract, you can save a lot of money with transport costs. So with this one, we're going to be fighting pirates. We're being hired by the Lyran Confederacy. We can try to renegotiate a lot of different things. Also, we can see who's going to be doing the negotiating and try to increase their negotiation skills. So Stephen Wordy, Peter Wright. Let's take a look at those dudes. Peter Wright. I don't think I can increase anything. Nope. Stephen Wright. Righty. I think I can increase his, though. Nope. Peter Wright. Stephen Wordy. Who was the other one? Jim Alphabet. And no, it was a good thought, but I have failed. All right, so contract market. I mean, salvage rights 50%. That's not bad. The thing that I would really like would be battle loss compensation or straight support. So let's see if we can renegotiate that a little bit. 20% is better than 0. Salvage rights, I'm probably not going to play with that because 50% is really not bad. Transport, if we can go better, then I would like that. 35 is better than 25. Honestly, not bad. So this is a 5-month contract. They are green with really bad equipment because even though I set things to be regular for BattleTech, for some reason it still says F is bad, even though it should be A is bad. So contract pay, 2.257 million, base is 4.16, all of this fun stuff, blah, 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 blah. We might end up losing money on this, but we also need to do contracts in order to get our reputation up. And by getting our reputation up, we get paid more. I'm going to go ahead and take this because I think in the end, this is going to be what helps. So let's go ahead and accept it. Looking forward to working with you. Or hold on. This is Agnet Cameron, assigned liaison. I don't know you, and no one's offered an opinion. Let's keep it that way. Complete the mission, and we'll see what you're made of. Plans are in place to integrate your unit into our logistics network. Surplus supplies will be redirected your way monthly, but distribution will be need-based. Frontline units with the heaviest attrition will get priority. This isn't a replacement for standard procurement. However, if you've got logistical vehicles you're willing to attach to the network, we can bump your priority and ensure your unit sees a larger share. To route the contract system, your route to the contract system has been plotted and uploaded. Tech teams are on standby to prep your forces for transport. Everything should be ready by the time you get to the staging bay. I'm looking forward to working with you. Yeah. They're going to help us get ready and mothball things that are mothballed. Yes, I will accept. And it's going to cost us 1.6 million C-bills to get there. Accept. Close. Interstellar. Even if we would have hung out where we were over here on Trelloc Prime. It still would have cost us a lot to get here to Crymond. The nice thing is that there is a standard or a regular hiring hall in Crymond, which means hopefully we can just chill there and get another contract. Since we've already screwed with the Draconis Combine, hopefully we can just get a contract to go screw with them some more and keep on building up that reputation for the Lyran Confederate or Lyran Commonwealth. So for us to get to Crymond, it is going to take a total of 61.4 days, 2 months. Let's get started. Before we get started though, do we have anything that's actually worth taking a look at? No, we don't. Nothing. A whole lot of nothing. This person has animal handling. They can handle animals. Isn't that nice? Okay. Advanced multiple days. We are on October 1st. Let's go to the new month. Still can't acquire tech. I'm just going to get rid of that because it's going to get really annoying seeing that over and over and over and over and over again. Remove. Okay, let's look at the units. Not a whole lot. We've got another gladiator. We know... Oh, it's a different gladiator, though. So this one has 2 medium lasers, 2 LRM-10s, a little bit less armor. It's still a 585, which is pretty great. I do enjoy how this is 2 LRM-10s. It can stand off a little bit better. Shadowhawk 2H, which is the standard Shadowhawk. It's got the medium laser AC5, LRM5, and SRM2. And then a Griffin, which is... it's an okay mech. It's great at standing off. It's great at jumping around and keeping mobile. I used to hate this mech. I didn't understand it. I didn't know how to play with it. But after a long time, I have grown to really appreciate this mech, especially on more open maps. You just jump around. You bounce from spot to spot to spot. You just constantly jump because even if you're jumping, you're firing every other turn and you're staying pretty heat neutral by doing that. And if you can also alternate between firing your LRM and your PPC and just stay in a good spot. And then a Wyvern. Doing Wyvern things. Again, not a terrible mech. Doesn't have a lot of armor though, which, in a medium versus medium engagement isn't bad. It can do some really great things with its large laser. The 2 small lasers are kind of a stinker though. But you can dump the large laser and the SRM6 if you're standing still and stay heat neutral. But staying still is a death sentence in this. Okay, let's go to the next month. And lots of things have been charging. Any useful things? We got a, ruh-roh. We've got a Wyvern, a Shadowhawk, Locust, Wasp, Warhammer, Stinger, Firestarter, Vulcan, an Ostrak, and an Archer. All of these things are fine. None of the things are what I would spend a lot of money on right now. I am really excited to start on a mission that allows us to actually get some salvage and not just be reimbursed. So we are 0.4 days from the planet. Let's go ahead and get in. Our employer already has a delivery ready for us. So hold on. That's really weird that they already have a delivery ready for us. It's kind of shocking, actually. There's nothing we're going to be able to do about that, so we're just going to use their resupply. Did it just skip that for me? Whatever, it's fine. I guess I don't get a resupply. That's sad. So let's go ahead and... Why is everything... it's because I already had a mothball. No! So mass activate, get all the friends doing all the things, activate. And then for these dudes, let's unmothball you. Okay. And then we have to wait a day or two. Who does not have a tech? And why do you not have a tech? It's because I just unmothballed you. Oh no, it's a grasshopper. That's why. Assign a person, tech. You can get that person. We'll advance another day. Things are slowly getting ready. And from there, unfortunately, we have not been able to fulfill our portion of the contract. We need to get one person on the front line. Let's go ahead and get Able Company out there on front line. We'll get Baker on maneuvers. And then why don't we go ahead and get Charlie on training? Let's see if we can't get some people trained up a little bit. I think you're supposed to have one veteran person doing training, though. So I'll take a look really quick. Now, one thing to keep in mind as well. So this has 2 Warhammers, a Stalker, and a Thunderbolt. I want to go ahead and get one of these Warhammers swapped over to a Grasshopper. And I think I want my better pilot to go ahead and pop into a Grasshopper. Yeah. So let's go ahead and remove. And that is this dude. You're going to be assigned as pilot, mech, heavy, grasshopper. And then all we do is add mech, heavy, grasshopper. Burp. I assigned the wrong person. Interesting. Should actually, so you, none. You assign pilot, mech, heavy, grasshopper. Now, one thing I've not been looking at are my dependents, and I should have. Interesting. They have added some new professions, and it's different. Let's just say it's different. Not quite the things I was expecting. I think they might have gotten rid of dependence. I mean, that's fine. I'm kind of okay with it, because dependence just felt like a lot to try to keep track of. And it felt like you were also always abusing them in a way. Like, go to school, learn something, come and join the force. And it became feeling very Starship Trooper-y. The movie, not the book. What I really actually need to do is one of these needs to be patrol. Add unit, mech, heavy, grasshopper. Who is not in right now? Okay. Everybody who should be in something is in something. You just need to be mothballed though. Ta-da! Okay, we'll advance a single who has not been assigned to tech. Oh. When did I get an LRM carrier? Guys, when did I get an LRM carrier? And why didn't somebody tell me? Okay, we're just going to mothball this and hope for the best. Okay, what I really need to do is I need to figure out who's going to be on patrol. And I don't know yet who that might be. I mean, it needs to be Charlie, unfortunately. Because I really want these people. I mean, they're not going to be learning a whole lot anyways. They just need to be on patrol. So briefing room, instead of training, you're going to be on patrol, and then go patrol here. Go learn things. All right, so just to make sure we're all on the same page, I need positive victory points. I currently have 3 support points with a deployment period of 3 days. My current strategic objectives: locate and capture or destroy designated facility, wherever that is. Maintain control of designated facility at 0201 on sector 0 until 0502, which I think, yep, is the end of contract. Engage, defeat hostile forces in a scenario somewhere in sector 0. Maintain victory points above 0. Currently, I am meeting 0 objectives, except for maintaining control of a base. We'll do some maintenance. Charlie Lance will come home, and then we're going to walk around and look some more. Now we go out and we start poking and trying to find the enemy. Because that's what you do. You don't sit at home. You don't sit on your hands. If you sit on your hands, the enemy will find you, and they will have the advantage. They will have the initiative. They will kill you. You go out there, you meet them, you take the initiative. Take the initiative away from the enemy. Downside, we might get a little fatigued doing this. Although, interestingly, it doesn't look like I'm accumulating fatigue. I might have a setting wrong in this, but that's also what you get when you're running with a nightly. You just don't know what you're getting. I am really excited for the next version of MekHQ to come out. It should be version 5.10. Because when I was looking at the updates, it should have been 5.08, but apparently the compiler that they have just like puked whenever it looked at the number 5.08, and instead they're having to do 5.10 and just skip 5.08 and 5.09. Which I think is just absolutely great. I think it's great. I think it's also hilarious. That's awkward. It's not letting me push the button. MekHQ. What are you doing? No. What in the world has happened? Oh my goodness. What just happened? What in the world just happened? Guys? They stepped into a hex. And then bad things happen. Hold on. Stand by. This is bad. I don't know much, but this is bad. I think we found a thumbnail. Yeah, I don't know. I've never had this happen. There we are, minding our own business, and then we step into a hex that we already know about, and then suddenly we have 4 engagements surrounding us. I am afraid. So we have a turning point irregular force assault. Hostile infantry and local insurgents are being reinforced by frontline enemy units, creating a growing threat in this sector. If left unchecked, their combined strength will destabilize our operations and undermine our control of the region. Your mission is to engage and destroy at least 50% of the combined enemy force, neutralizing their ability to continue resistance. Expect a mix of tactics. The insurgents will use terrain, ambushes, and guerrilla warfare, while the frontline units will provide structured firepower and coordination. Do not underestimate either force. Eliminate them with precision, break their ability to fight, and ensure the sector is pacified. Victor will control the field of battle at the end. Mission is of suppression and dominance. Strike hard, eliminate resistance, and leave no doubt who commands the region. Okay. So we just have to destroy 50% of all of the things. So here's a question I have for people. When MekHQ tells you destroy, cripple, or force withdrawal of 50% of the following forces, do you, when you read that, do you view that as you must destroy 50% of the titles that are here? So you must destroy 50% of the named enemies. Or do you view that as you destroy 50% of the combat value here? So you roll in and they've got, what does that equal? Like 6,400, roughly 6,500 BV. Do you have to destroy 3,000, 3,250 BV? Or do you have to destroy 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8 of the 15 units? Because I've always viewed it as you have to destroy 8 of the 15 units in order to meet your objective. Now, fortunately, we've got some really decent allies here. The sucky thing is that we're not going to be able to fight all of these. I would like to fight all of these. I would like to get the salvage, but I'm worried. Especially considering, when you're looking at this, and it's urban. It would have been a great place for that hunchback that I didn't buy. Son of a gun. Okay. Whitworth, Archer, Bombardier. What are you? SRM-4, LRM-20, LRM-20, machine gun. Neat. Okay. Not hugely. You're just a long-range standoff, dude. The Stalker is much more scary. The Stalker is much, much more scary. So I think what we can do, we can put Able Lance and stand Able Lance up against that frontline unit, because Able Lance BV 8,400, we've got some pretty decent pilots. They can walk in, and especially if they can focus down some stuff, I think they can do a pretty good job against these guys. You know, the Stalker is pretty scary. The Whitworth, depending on the range, can be a little scary. You know, at a long distance, it can be a little scary, but not too bad. The Stalker is the most scary one out of the bunch. So as long as they can focus down the Stalker, everybody else is not great at short range. So if you can close the distance, I think you're going to be okay. The next day, I mean, we have to fight this. We have to fight this. But the challenge with this is that we also will not be able to use whatever unit we use here. I think what we end up having to do, you know, it's the 26th. This engagement happens today. This one happens in a couple of days. By that point in time, Charlie Lance will be back. And I think at that point in time, we put the Blackjack into Charlie Lance. Yeah, we put the Blackjack into Charlie Lance, and we let them take on the convoy raid. Because I think that will end up working. Because all they're dealing with are wasps, aside from the one Sentinel, which is rolling with an AC-5, an SRM, and a small laser. I think that's what we're going to do. So Able Lance will take the frontline unit. We're going to let the minor engagement just kind of roll us on by. Don't worry about it. I think that's going to be better overall anyways. The Bravo Lance will end up taking the Irregular Force Assault, because we should, I think, be able to deal with that. It's going to be tight. It's going to be really tight. But fortunately with our allies, I think we can do that. And then Charlie Lance can take the convoy raid. All right, let's do it. Nothing to it but do it. Area of operations. Frontline engagement. Manage. Able Lance. Send it. All right, frontline engagement. Let's go ahead and start a game. The enemy is fully committed to battle along the front line, engaging our forces in direct confrontation. Your mission is to break their offensive by defeating at least 50% of their forces. This engagement is a decisive clash. Victory here will shift the momentum of the war in our favor. Expect a determined enemy response. They will not withdraw easily and may attempt to reinforce their position as losses mount. Strike hard, exploit weaknesses, and maintain battlefield control. This is not a delaying action. This is a battle for dominance. The victor will control the field of battle at the end of the engagement, securing salvage and eliminating any remaining resistance. Ensure that when the dust settles, it is our force standing over the wreckage. Crush them and claim the field. Additional hostile mechs are approaching the area. And like I said, when we're talking about destroy 50%, I view that as they have 5 mechs. I need to destroy 3 of them. Once I destroy 3, we win. I do not view that as, oh, they have 5,400 BV. We need to do 2,750 BV of damage. That doesn't make sense to me. Because in a fight, somebody who can still stand there shoot at me missing an arm can still shoot at me missing an arm. I need them to be completely incapacitated. So that's just how I view it. Okay, let's go. All right, so we have our friends, they have their friends, they have a cool little stripe across them. Like we talked about, we just have to deal with the stalker. That's the really big bad boy. The archer is going to be the next one. I'm less worried about the bombardier and the Whitworth. Definitely don't care about the militia mech. That can get wrecked. And we lose initiative, kind of? Yeah, we lost initiative. That's unfortunate. All right. Cool. So, with that being said and done, fairly small map. This would be a great map for the Hunchback that I did not buy. Turn, go north. Grasshopper, you also turn and go to the north. I think for you. And then the Warhammer can go here-ish, turn and go this way. Deploy. Oh, that's interesting. They don't even deploy until round 8. Oh, that's very interesting. So I have to destroy 50% of the Op4. Which is... Oh, that's interesting. So all I have to do is destroy the militia mech. That's the only thing I have to destroy. If I would have realized that, I would have done something very different here. But all I have to do is destroy this guy, this one right here. These guys won't even get here until round 8. Okay, cool. That poor little mech. He has an SRM-4, a medium laser, a machine gun, and LRM-5. And on his happy little mech, he has a little bit of frontal armor, no rear armor to speak of, and an okay amount of internal structure, which makes a little bit of sense. Knowing that, we just have to close the distance. And I think we'll be fine. So everybody can skip. Skip physical attacks, and we're done with that turn. Keep going. And because he lost initiative, he already had to go. I'll risk it for a 3. I think we can manage to roll a 1. And let's risk it for the... Really? You failed on a 3. He failed on a 3. Let's take a moment and take a look at this guy. He failed on a 3. Tabulu Rasa, you failed on a 3. That's fine. I'm not bitter. Risk it again. Wow. 2 of my 3 people failed on relatively easy rolls. Wow. Wow. Okay, so let's take a look at this. So Grasshopper did fine, Stalker did fine, Stalker did fine. Thunderbolt fails, falls onto the right side, deals 7 damage, takes 5 to the right arm, 2 to the center torso. Great. The pilot doesn't take any damage. Warhammer succeeds on the first roll, fails on the second one, falls 0 level, falls onto its rear, takes 5 damage to the left arm, takes 2 damage to the left torso. Succeeds. However, it skids into a building, taking an additional 14 points of damage. Or the building takes 14 points of damage, also dealing an additional 7 points of damage to the right leg. He slides inside of the building, rolls a 2, so goes double feet first into the basement and falls, causing the building to collapse. The building falls on its, the Warhammer then falls onto its front, suffering a total of 21 points of damage, taking 5 points to its left leg, a total of 10 to its right leg, and another 6 to its left leg. And then it falls to its right side, suffering 7 more points of damage, 5 to its left torso, 2 to its right arm. Wow. I have been defeated by a building. My Warhammer was defeated by a building. Sorry, you guys couldn't see that because I put it on the wrong screen. Let me bring it up one more time, because that warrants taking some look at. Warhammer, hard fail. This is what failing looks like. This is what it looks like to fail. And it all ends with skid ends. Skid ends. Moving on with our life, I guess. I guess I'm just not allowed to run anymore. I love that. We fell again. Just get up. Great. At least we managed to get up. I am being destroyed. Not by the enemy, but by the dice. All right, so let's go ahead and see what our to hits are. So medium lasers are 3s. I think we can manage that. Large lasers also 3s. That'll put us to 21 heat. This is why I love grasshoppers, right? Because we walked, and now we can just unload with everything. So grasshopper medium laser hits the right torso, medium laser hits the center torso, medium laser hits the right arm, medium laser hits the right leg, and a large laser hits the center torso. Everything still has armor on it. The Quasit medium laser hits the center torso, and a LRM-5 hits, dealing 3 damage to the left arm. The pilot of the Quasit stays standing after taking 20 or more damage. We'll go ahead and skip all of our physical attacks, because the buildings did nothing to hurt us. Well, except for the one that did. Man, I really can't say the buildings did nothing to hurt us, because they definitely did. we're just going to close the distance slowly but surely. And if we're going in a straight line, we can go in a straight line. Surely nothing bad can happen there. We're going to skip the movement on the grasshopper. I have a feeling he's going to try to jump in behind him or something. Interesting. Yeah, just punch the building. You'll feel better. Yeah, hit that building. He has anger problems. I would also like to win initiative at some point. Great, we managed to roll a 3. Isn't that nice? I mean, you know, in all fairness, this dude's doing a good job of just dragging this on. Unfortunately, he just lost initiative. CF is 102. CF is 84. I mean, I think the right answer is to do this. You stay there. Because then what we end up doing, the grasshopper shoots not the closet, but the building. Because as long as we do, it should be greater than about 30 damage. 31. We have to do 31 or more damage. And then that building collapses. And he is currently at elevation 4, which means he's going to fall that far and take that much more damage. I don't remember exactly how the calculation goes, but it's going to be rough. Is going to be rough. And right now, those are auto hits, which means we're going to do 5, 10, 15, 20, 28. Got to shoot the LRMs. Can't shoot the building, but we can shoot the closet. So why don't we go ahead and do a couple of medium lasers, maybe a couple more medium lasers, maybe even an LRM, or not an LRM, a large laser, or I don't know, 2. 2 sounds good. You can't hit anything, and you also cannot hit anything. Let's see what happens. So the closet hits the stalker with an LRM 5, dealing 3 damage to the right torso. Grasshopper shoots the building. It's not hard to hit a building that you're standing next to. And so he hits every single one of them. Down to 43 CF remaining. A 45-ton mech is currently sitting on a 43 CF building. That math does not math. For those of you who don't know, you need 1 CF for every ton, and you need to have more CF than what the tonnage of the mech is. Spoiler alert, it's up here. It's right there. That's the spoiler. Also, Stalker. Medium laser hits, gets the left arm. Medium laser hits, gets the right torso. No structure or no armor remaining. Critical hit on environmental ceiling. Center torso, critical hit on the engine. Before he can even fall, the engine is destroyed by the medium laser just cruising on through that engine. So the Quasit was already destroyed by the time it fell. Then the building collapsed. And it went boom. Ooh, buddy. Oh, buddy. And the pilot is dead. Everything is bad for him, not for me. Although it could have gone a lot better for me. We're going to type that beautiful word, /victory. Boom, we win. Because we have destroyed greater than 50% of the things that are here. And by greater than 50%, I do mean 100%. And then we get out before their reinforcements arrive, and we run away. Okay, yes, of course I want to save a GIF. So, we do contract 2, B1. No, I don't need to save salvage, I don't think. None of those other things ever arrived, so we're good to go there. Victor, yes, I did retain control of the battlefield. This just makes me sad. The Warhammer being so damaged without ever actually seeing the enemy. He never saw him. Next. Sure, we can say all those escaped. Great. We did the job, and we're done. Cool. So that was the end of the day. Better take a look. Convoy raid is going to be... No, we don't need that one. Irregular force assault is the one we really need, and that is going to be Baker Lance. Yep, it's fine. That's fine. We'll be okay. All right, cool. So there we are. And turning point, we've got Baker Lance available. So once again, as a reminder, we've got Baker Lance who's doing his thing. We've got a whole bunch of reinforcements here. I don't know when they're going to be there, though. That's the only downside. And our objective, we need to destroy 50% of the total enemy force. So infantry, irregulars, and Op4. So we don't have to worry about the reinforcements. All we have to worry about is the infantry, the irregulars, and the Op4. The easiest things for us to destroy are probably actually going to be the irregulars and the actual Op4. Those are the ones that we're actually going to be able to target. The infantry is going to be a pain in the butt to kill, except for anything with a machine gun. So that's probably what we're going to have to do. And we need to destroy, they've got 11 critters. We need to destroy 6. So we're going to see what happens. Fortunately, nobody is actually very good on their side. Let's go ahead and start a game. So hostile infantry and local insurgents are being reinforced. We already read this. If you guys want, you can read through it really quick. Or you can pause the video if you're watching on YouTube. Commence drop. Let's go. All right, nothing could possibly go wrong. Like falling into a building and then falling into the basement and then rolling over and falling again. Nothing that's ever happened. Okay, and we won initiative by a bunch. We don't need a map that's quite that big. Do that. Might work out okay. All right. And so they are all going to be starting like center-ish, right? Center, center, and southwest. So all of the infantry and their regulars are going to start center. The mechs are going to be starting on the southwest, so opposite corner from us. I think the smarter move here would be for us to, well, look at the terrain first of all. I think if we start from the north, we can essentially, we can start here and then pop up over the hill here and maintain a little bit of cover. Because otherwise, I mean, they're going to be in this little dip right here. And they're probably going to be popping out at some point. That's probably going to be the right move. The archer can come up here to this rise and do archery things. Whoops. Wrong spot. Well, hey, that answers my question of if those other mechs are going to be joining us. They will. All right, so their reinforcements will be arriving around 5. They will be joining us. There is no way that we can do enough damage in the first 5 turns to be able to achieve our victory requirements. It's not going to happen. But we can at least get the party started. And they are going to be starting... Oh, interesting. They're going to be starting on the north side. So they're going to be coming in right next to us or behind us. So let's go ahead and move up. Let's create. Let's do the things. So we'll keep walking just so that we can try to have some slightly better firing modifiers. So medium lasers are 7 to hit, LRM is 8 to hit. You know, energy is cheap. Why don't we just do that for right now? And then the rifleman, I mean, he's in short range of the PPC, so it's 5s. We'll go ahead and do that and get a little toasty to start off with. And hopefully just shut him down right away. Nothing for you to do, and nothing for you to do. So the blackjack, we're ally blackjack. Fires some medium lasers, hits the front, killing the crew. First shot, very first shot. Crew killed. Just, they're dead. Goodbye. Everything after that is just insult to injury. You know, the sensors are gone, the motive system is jacked up. It can't hardly move, even if it had a crew. Engine is destroyed, and then it's destroyed. Just it's gone. That poor little harvester is gone. next turn. Their team is trying to make its way in. I wonder what their mechs are actually going to end up doing. I wouldn't mind having a Crusader all of my very own. That would be nice. So let's go ahead and close the distance, especially with our Gladiator and our Shadowhawk. The Archer can also definitely close the distance a little bit. I think he's got to get on the other side of this mound, though. He should be able to hit like the Nox armor car and all that jazz. We'll go ahead and run just so we can maybe get some shots. And then my rifleman needs to cool down, so just lackadaisically walk on over. The Archer has got 9s for the armor car. He's 1 hex away from the magical short range. He's 8 for the foot platoons, but I don't think that's a great idea. I think probably just dump 1 LRM into the Nox and call it a day. Maybe a medium laser 2. No, that's not worth it. That's 8s or 7. Yeah, we can do a 9 and a 7. I think that's fine. There's a chance that something might hit. It's for you. You'll be heat neutral if we fire, so you can go ahead and shoot at something even if you don't have a great chance to hit. And then last but not least, my Gladiator. So it's 9s no matter what. The Nox already has a bunch of stuff shooting at it. I think that we need to give the Gladiator some love, though. All right, ally Blackjack fires an AC2 at the Rifleman, hits the right leg. Other AC2 misses. My Archer fires an LRM-20, misses. The ally Shadowhawk fires an AC5 at the motorized platoon, hits, but because they're infantry, 5 damage is reduced to 1, 27 men alive. Same thing happens again, 26 men alive. My Shadowhawk, AC5 misses, LRM5 hits against the Nox armored car. Motive system is damaged down to half MP. The enemy Toro fires twice and misses. The ally Griffin fires a PPC at the Nox armored car, just destroys the left side. It's gone. It's dead. Rifleman fires PPC and misses. Enemy Crusader fires twice and misses. Enemy Crusader, ally Crusader fires an LRM-15 and misses. Gladiator fires PPC at the Growler, hits it, destroys the right side. That vehicle is also destroyed by damage. All right, not a bad start. So that is 3 of the 6 needed that we need in order to win. And we win initiative. So we are currently at 8 out of 8 units remaining. Team 2 is at 12 out of 15 units remaining. But most importantly, the reinforcements doesn't count towards their numbers. We need half of the infantry, irregulars, and op4 destroyed. So out of the 11, we need to destroy 6 of them. We're halfway there. All right, next, we can go ahead and close the distance a little bit more, but not too much. Not too much. Where does the LRM? Yeah, we'll do that. That puts the Growler at short range. And then the Shadowhawk can step up. That should put pretty much everybody into short range or medium range at the worst. Let's get the Gladiator. You can go there. And then the Rifleman can finally join the party a little bit. All right, so my Archer. Oh no, he can't see the thing that was at short range. That's okay. Medium range is fine too. It's 7s to hit on the foot platoon. It's infantry, so we're going to have to just dump on them in order to do any damage at all. Then same thing here. That poor little infantry platoon is going to be having a very, very bad day. Because that's the only thing anybody can see. Actually, it would be smarter. So PPCs are 5. SRM is a 7, but the SRM hits. That's going to do a lot more. Might as well just do that. Because the PPC is going to get dropped down to like 2 damage. Or killing 2 dudes. Alright, so my Archer LRM hits. Damage will change from 20 to 4. 24 men alive. Other LRM 20 misses. Their ally Blackjack AC2 hits against Crusader on the center torso, dealing a whole 2 damage. Other AC2 misses. My Shadowhawk AC5 hits. 23 men alive. LRM 5 hits. 22 men alive. SRM 2 hits. 21 men alive. Medium laser misses. See, this is why infantry are a pain. If you are shooting machine guns at them, man, you're having a great day. If you're shooting anything else at them, aside from like a machine gun and a flamer and like a couple other things, you're having a bad day. Motorized platoon misses. Ally Shadowhawk AC5 of the Rifleman misses. LRM 5 hits, dealing 1 point of damage to the center torso. My Rifleman fires PPC and hits, damage from 10 to 1. Luckily, energy is cheap. But infantry platoon caught in the open, damage doubled, 24 men alive. Enemy Rifleman misses twice. Ally Griffin hits a PPC against the Crusader. Right arm is down to 10 armor. LRM 10 misses. The Toro fires 2 LRM 5s at my Shadowhawk and hits with both of them, taking damage to the left torso and the center torso. My Gladiator fires SRM 6. 3 damage is dealt to that platoon, down to 18. And then hits with a medium laser, down to 17 people. Crusader fires LRM 15 against the Shadowhawk and hits. Man, they are doing great. Taking damage to the left arm. And then also LRM deals damage to the left arm, center torso, and right arm. Crusader fires and misses. My Shadowhawk took greater than 20 damage and stays standing. So that infantry platoon started with 24 men. At the end of it all, they were down to 17, and a ton of things hit against them. And they were just down to 17. They are just huge damage sinks. And anyone who says anything different is crazy. What to do? Yeah, I think that's the better choice. No, that's probably the bestest choice. Let's do that. And then the gladiator can do one of these things right here. It's tough because you have to close the distance, but as soon as the infantry gets close to you, they just dive onto the legs of your mechs and just go nuts. And what I really need to do here in a second is ignore all the dudes down here in this dip and to start going for the mechs. Because that Toro is going to start hurting really bad. The Crusader, like, it would be great if I could disable and take it. The Rifleman I care a lot less about. But with that being said, let's go ahead and put some medium lasers into a mechanized platoon. Puts me over by 1. That's fine. Then I'm hoping that that Growler should just go away. Okay, so it's 6 to hit the Growler. It's 10 to hit the Crusader. I think I'm going to take my chances with the Growler. Great. I think, yeah, going over by 6 is going to be worth it in this case, I hope. Because then I can close the distance a little bit, cool off, and then shoot them again. Which seems reasonable. I'm hoping that Growler just goes away because it doesn't have much armor. So I think probably a PPC against the Crusader is going to be the right move. All right, so Archer, medium laser misses, medium laser hits, dealing a whole 2 damage to the motorized platoon. Enemy Rifleman, large laser hits against the Gladiator on the right arm. AC5 also hits against the left arm. Allied Blackjack, AC2 misses, AC2 hits the left leg of the Rifleman. Toro, PPC misses, LRM misses, LRM hits against my Shadowhawk, 1 damage against the center torso. Shadowhawk, firing medium laser, hits the front, destroys the front. Really didn't have very much armor, did it? I'm happy I didn't put anything else into that vehicle. Enemy Crusader fires medium laser and misses. LRM-15 hits against the Gladiator. With partial cover, only takes 5 damage to the left arm. LRM-15 misses. Ally Shadowhawk, AC5 against the Rifleman hits the left leg. LRM-5 hits, dealing 4 damage to the left torso. And then my Rifleman, PPC against the Crusader, both hit. 1 against the left leg, 1 against the left torso. So he takes a total of 20 damage. Motorized platoon fires a machine gun against the Griffin and misses. Allied Griffin fires LRM-15 against the Rifleman, hits. 5 damage to left torso, 1 damage to left arm. Motorized platoon fires, hitting the right leg. Critical hit on the right leg with no effect. My Gladiator fires PPC and misses. Mechanized hover platoon deals 2 damage to the center torso, 2 damage to the right leg, 2 damage to left torso, 2 damage right torso, and another 2 damage to the right torso against the Allied Shadowhawk. That's the dangerous thing, man, is that they do, 2 troopers do 1 damage. And so if you got a whole platoon there, they can mess you up, man. Enemy Crusader stays standing. So enemy Shadowhawk attempted to kick the pirate infantry, missed. Allied Griffin attempted to kick things and kicked some mechanized tower platoon and stuffs. The Shadowhawk, he missed. He rolled a 2 and he fell, taking some damage, but the pilot did not take any damage, which is nice. So my rifleman is at 6 heat. Allied Griffin is at 6. Allied Crusader is at 5. Enemy Toro is at 6, and Allied Crusader is at 7. We need to destroy 2 more enemies. This is where I would love to have some machine guns. Oh, but the enemy reinforcements have arrived, and they are coming from behind. So I think the right move here is we just need to close the distance with the Crusader. The rifleman is scary, but we need to close the distance with the Crusader. Oh, that's actually the less scary one. Yeah, I think we need to close the distance with the Crusader and try to take the Crusader out. So if we go there, then we go down a level. We're down. We're in defilade from all of this stuff, and hopefully we can do some damage against things, and maybe take out 1 infantry unit. That is scary, but I think that's probably the right move. And if we go there, then they can see us, but we're going to be out of range from them. And we should hopefully be able to launch on the Crusader. He'll be in his right arc, but it should be fine. Or hear me out. The Toro has like 0 armor. I think we need to kill the Toro. Especially because that's a long-range mech. What are you going to do at 2 and 3 hexes, bro? What's your plan? So a couple of medium lasers into the foot platoon. Hope for the best. Toro. I'll take a 7. I'll take an 8. We'll skip on the... Well, do I really need to? I don't need to. And we really need this engagement to end. If we hit, then it's a great thing. If we miss, whatever. I'll waste the money. And we have the heat to spare. Nines. I can totes do a 9 to hit. And we have the heat. We're still trying to cool down, but we'll get there. What's the PPC? 9. I think we skip the PPC this round and do that. So we'll do 2 medium lasers and SRM-6 into the Toro. Let's see what happens. I'm not going to do a spoiler. I'm not going to uncover it right now. Blackjack does things, hits against some of the reinforcements. the Scorpion doesn't have a ton of armor on his legs, which is really nice, but it has 4 of them, so it can kind of keep going. The enemy Whitworth totally misses. Archer hits with one of the medium lasers, down to 16 men. God, it's going to take forever to deal with them. Enemy Rifleman whiffs. Ally Shadowhawk gets one LRM-15 or LRM-5 to hit, dealing 4 damage to the Rifleman's left arm. Motorized Platoon does a leg attack, doing a critical on the right leg. 6 armor remaining on the right leg for Ally Shadowhawk. My Shadowhawk, medium laser into the center torso, 9 armor remaining, misses the AC-5, misses the LRM-5. SRM-2 hits, both missiles hit. 2 damage to the right torso, 2 damage to the left torso. Enemy Scorpion whiffs. Allied Griffin whiffs. And then the Toro misses. Motorized Platoon does a leg attack on my Archer, dealing a critical attack on the right leg. 4 damage, 22 armor remaining. Rifleman misses with his PPC. Mechanized Hover Platoon deals a bunch of damage to my Archer. 2 damage to the right leg, 2 damage to the right leg, and then critical to the center torso, but reroll with edge, and 2 damage to the right torso. Scorpion fires a PPC at the Allied Crusader and hits on the left arm. Allied Crusader hits with an LRM-15 against the enemy Crusader, dealing 5 damage to the right leg, 4 damage to the right arm. Hits the other LRM-15, doing 5 damage to the left leg, and 4 damage to the head. Oof. Gotta love head hits. Enemy Sentinel misses everything. Enemy Crusader hits with a medium laser to the right torso. Would have hit the head, but re-rolled to the right torso. Thank goodness for edge. And then medium laser misses, machine gun and machine gun miss. My Gladiator misses everything. Man, that's a bummer. Okay, let's see if I can't kick the Motorized Platoon. Hit! Great. 2 damage, 26 men alive. What a feeling to be alive. I hate going against infantry. Still need to destroy 2 of the original units. I was really hoping the Toro would be one of them. Okay, so let's go ahead and see if we can't back up a little bit. That Motorized Platoon is probably going to follow me. I need to sync just a little bit of initiative to see what these guys are going to do. Yeah, I figure that's what the Motorized Platoon would do. And I didn't realize I should have turned because the Rifleman... I think he'll have my left arc, not my back. Oh, no, he'll have my back for sure. That's a sad day. Yeah, I think that's the right move. Let's see what the Toro ends up doing, because I honestly don't know. Interesting. Okay. So now the question becomes, do I focus down the Crusader, who still has more armor, even damaged, than the Toro, or do I still work on the Toro? And I don't think... Oh, my Rifleman can hit him. So that's 8s or 7s on the medium lasers. I'll do that. Let's do 7s on the medium laser. This is less than ideal. We'll skip the AC5, we'll skip the LRM, and we'll just stick with the two shorter range things. I'm really hoping that we actually get to hit the Toro this turn. Otherwise, it's going to be very, very sad. Super fast. The Gladiator is going to be up to 1 heat, but overall shouldn't be too bad still. Hold on, did I see something? Oh, thank goodness. Something hurt the Rifleman a lot. Okay, so Toro takes a hit to the right arm. Otherwise, my Rifleman didn't do anything useful. Their Blackjack, all right, gets a medium laser against center torso, medium laser against the head, 1 armor remaining. Center torso, critical hit, takes a critical against the AC5. AC5 explodes. The pilot for the Rifleman blacks out as he jettisons. Rifleman was destroyed by ejection and destruction of the center torso. Critical hit on the engine, naturally. Their Rifleman did smack my Archer with a large laser against the left torso, as well as an AC5, another AC5, medium laser, everything hitting left torso, left arm, left leg, and left leg, but I still have plenty of armor left. My Archer smacks the infantry twice with a couple medium lasers. That motorized platoon is down to 18. Motorized platoon misses. Shadowhawk, Ally Shadowhawk, hits with an AC5 against the Rifleman. Not that it matters. My Shadowhawk hits the Toro with medium laser into the right leg. SRM2 hits with 1 missile going into the right torso. Enemy Toro PPC against Allied Blackjack hits the left arm. LRM5, 3 missiles hit against the Allied Blackjack into the right torso. Motorized platoon against the leg attack against the right leg. 14 armor remaining. Critical, no effect. And then Griffin, LRM10. All 10 missiles hit against the enemy Rifleman. Not that that matters at all. Gladiator, medium laser against the right torso hits. SRM6, 2 damage into the head, 2 damage in the right leg, 2 damage in the left leg, 2 damage in the left torso against the enemy Crusader from my Gladiator. Sentinel misses everything. Enemy Crusader into my Gladiator, medium laser hits the left leg, machine gun hits the left leg, and that's it. Ally Crusader does things to Rifleman. Again, not that it matters. My Archer took over 20 damage, needed a 5, rolled a 2, falls. It takes damage to the center torso and the right arm, but my pilot rolls a 5, just narrowly missing damage. So we'll punch with the Shadowhawk, and then I think, yeah, we'll go ahead and kick with the Gladiator. So the Toro kicks and it hits the right leg, dealing 7 damage to the Shadowhawk's right leg. The Shadowhawk misses its punch with a 2. The Gladiator hits against the left leg. Crusader left leg is out of armor and down to 8 internal structure. Takes a critical hit on the SRM6 and a critical hit on the left leg, or with the critical hit on the left leg. Griffin does manage to kick the motorized platoon. Shadowhawk was kicked, stays standing. Crusader was kicked, stays standing. That's the end of the turn. There was heat. We need to destroy 1 more unit. So the pirate irregulars, there is nobody left. Out of the 4 original units, all 4 of them are destroyed. And then 1 of the 3 mechs has been destroyed. You know, when we're talking about straight BV, once again, it's, if we were talking about straight BV, I would have won this by now, but we're not. All right, let's see if we can get up. We got up. This is great. Huh. Well, if you're just going to chill there, Mr. Crusader, I think we have no choice but to hang out with you. I am baffled by the AI's decisions sometimes. Absolutely baffled. Yes, I know I'm leaving myself open to be shot in the back by these things. They're not coming down. Well, he is, but most of them are not coming down. We'll just do that. Go ahead and fire a couple of medium lasers again. I don't know, maybe I'm greedy, but I want both. I want the Crusader and the Toro both destroyed. Or at least salvaged afterwards. I don't want them to escape. I just don't want them to escape. I think I'm probably being greedy with that, but I kind of don't care. Do I go that hot? No. No, that would just be silly. So we'll do that. We'll do that. Do all the things. Okay, what happened? This is the question. What happened? All right, ally Blackjack, medium laser against the Sentinel, hits the center torso, misses everything else. My Archer hits with one of the medium lasers, 15 men alive on that infantry platoon. Ally Shadowhawk hits a medium laser and an SRM-2 against the Sentinel, hitting right torso and center torso. The Toro, PPC against the Gladiator, hits the left arm, destroys the remainder of the armor, 4 internal structure remaining, critical hit on the upper arm. My Shadowhawk, however, medium laser on left torso rear, destroys all of the armor, 6 internal structure remaining, no effect on the left torso, critical though. AC-5 missed, SRM-2 hit on the right arm, 3 armor remaining. Scorpion misses, Griffin misses, motorized platoon hits against the ally Blackjack, doing bad things, including hitting the head. Enemy Crusader fires at the Shadowhawk. Medium laser against the center torso and the right arm, and the machine guns both miss. SRM-6 hits with 5 of the 6 missiles, dealing damage to the right torso, center torso, 2 to the right leg, and 1 to the left torso. Ally Rifleman, both PPCs hit. First one goes into the left torso. Second one also goes into the left torso, critting, hitting the LRM-15 ammo and destroying the Crusader, I think. Hold on. Yes, yeah, the center torso is like toast. Absolute toast. Well, there goes the Crusader I wanted to salvage. Sad day. Sentinel fires AC-5, misses. SRM-2 hits with 2 missiles against my Archer, hitting the center torso and the right torso. Crusader misses all of the things. Motorized platoon misses. My Gladiator against the Crusader doesn't matter because it's already dead. My Shadowhawk took a whole bunch of damage, needed a 6 to stay standing, rolled a 4, fell, hit its head, rerolled with edge, thankfully. Takes 5 damage to the center torso, 1 damage to the left torso, but my pilot does manage to avoid taking damage, which is neat. And with that, that's actually enough for me to win. I really wish that my Shadowhawk wouldn't have fallen, because I really wanted to kick the Toro in the back and take off the head. But maybe I can step on some infantry. And then, no, don't kick the pilot that can't get up. And that was actually enough for us to win. Not, I'm kind of bummed in a way, but it's fine. So we say the wonderful word of victory. The Sentinel missed. Allied Griffin tried to punch a Sentinel and succeeded, hitting the... Oh, no, it kicked a Sentinel, hitting it in the right leg, down to 0 armor. Archer kicked a motorized platoon, dealing some damage, 24 men alive. The Allied Blackjack kicked a motorized platoon, 14 men alive. The Sentinel was kicked, falls, crits on the right torso, but otherwise, no harm, no foul. Done. Heat happened. We won. We picked up an enemy pilot. We'll see if they land in our prisoner realm. We will go ahead and save a YIF. All right, so we're going to go ahead and do salvage. And then after we do salvage, I'm probably going to do some repairs. And then we're going to probably call it a night. You know, I've been on for about 3 hours now. It's time for me to probably call it good. My daughter's going to get up at about 6 o'clock in the morning, and that's 7 hours from now. So scenario template says that Victor retains battlefield control. We won. So I'm going to say, yes, we maintain control. So have some damage to some things. Nobody actually took a hit, though, which is pretty great. And then it's kind of a bummer about, you know, the Toro. That one makes me kind of sad. I am, so kind of from a role play perspective, I would expect that, like, if we maintain control of the battlefield based on what was going on at the moment, none of the infantry could get out. So probably could not escape. All of the mechs, I'm sure, can get out of there, but none of the infantry can get out of there. Not that it adds a whole lot in the way of C-bills. For these guys, you know, the big thing, I think maybe just sell them, mostly the Saturn Harvester, because it's actually worth a little bit. Or we can just hold on to things, and then when we actually get a mech, we can steal it. I think we do that. So we don't get anything right now. Next. So the Riflemen, we did not do anything to that. The Saturn Harvester got taken out by one of our allies. The Nox Armor Car, same thing. Force withdrawal of at least 50%. We have a victory. Finish. All done. All right, let's go ahead and do... Actually, we won't do the repairs because we'll have to wait until after the next engagement. And like I said before, we're not going to do the minor engagement. We did the irregular force assault today. The minor engagement is going to end up sitting there and nothing is going to happen with it. So tomorrow or the next time that we stream, you know, we've won the frontline engagement. We won the regular force assault. The next thing is going to be this convoy raid happening on the next day. We're going to do a loss on this minor engagement. I'm probably going to go ahead and we'll say that it's definitely a loss afterwards. I think I might have to manually mark that. The convoy raid will happen on the next stream, and we'll kind of see how it goes. So that's what we're going to call it for tonight. Everybody who might have been watching, I appreciate your time. Thank you so much for joining. Anybody watching on YouTube, I hope that you've enjoyed it. If you have any comments, I want to encourage you to share them. If you enjoyed this, even in the slightest, I really want you to go ahead and take a second and hit that thumbs up to like this video. And then afterwards, If you are enjoying the content so far, go ahead and hit subscribe. If you want to know when I'm going to be streaming, I am on Blue Sky. I try to put when I'm going to be streaming on there. Otherwise, there's probably going to be 2 to 3 videos coming out a week, hopefully, depending on my work schedule. If you guys have any questions, concerns, please just let me know in the comments. Otherwise, you guys have a great night, and we will talk to you later. Again, sorry for this small interruption in the middle of the stream. Take care, and we'll see you next time.